Everybody, welcome into the PHNX Suns podcast. I'm Lindsay. That's Saul. That's Espo. Gentlemen, how are you doing today? I'm feeling a little tired. I think our takeover last night was a little too much fun.
That's a yawn.
Saul and I are both on show number 2 of the day that we've done.
Well.
Yeah.
And we're good.
Lies.
Put in that heavy work.
Lies. Either which way, I'm tired, but we've got some fun stuff to
What
talk
is new,
about
Lindsay?
today.
You're always tired.
Yeah, but it's like extra today.
That's true.
Lindsay,
Like, it's
what's
extra.
bothering you? Let's get into
My
that.
eye
all right?
itches.
It itches or twitches?
Both, but
Both,
right now
okay.
specifically, it's a little itchy.
What else can we help you with?
I don't know if it's a residual from the twitching or not. We'll see. My shoulders hurt really
okay.
Oh my
bad.
God, I could
Okay.
use
I don't
a
know
shoulder rub like
Same.
nobody's business.
Company massage?
Like this morning,
gonna do that.
EJ like wanted to hug me, which you know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
And he like put his thumb on a spot on my back, on my shoulder. I didn't scream on the show, but oh my God, he must have hit like a what do you call it? A knot.
Yeah.
And it was so damn painful. I was like, oh my God.
And Eddie's got those big old hands too. Yeah. He's a professional athlete. What do you want? He's got the. All right.
He's got those big old hands.
Off to a hot start today, everybody.
Hey now.
Okay.
Anything else we can help you with, Lindsay?
I need lots of things. $1 million would probably fix a lot of my issues. So,
We're
we're
gonna have to work a lot harder here for there to be an excess
get
billion
to it,
dollars.
Espo. My goodness. Before I know it, my eyeball's going to pop out. It just twitched again. So, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, on to Suns talk. Thank you all for joining us today. Obviously, the biggest news coming out of last night's game was that Devin Booker returned. We got to see Point Book in action, and it was a heck of a lot of fun. How are you guys feeling about what you saw from Book last night, specifically Point Book?
I kind of brought this up on Outside Shots today. One of the things, am I on this camera? Okay, yeah. One of the things that I really, really appreciate about Devin Booker is he doesn't have very much wasted movement. He knows exactly what he wants to do, how to counteract something that the defense is doing, and he knows how to do it in such a smooth, efficient way that puts himself in a tremendous position to score or set up a teammate. That is just, it's something that usually the older you get, the more you perfect, because you have to, because your body's wearing down. You can't do some of the same things you used to. So you have to be a lot more calculated than ever in terms of getting around the court. Chris Paul, perfect example of that. You know what I mean? Like there's no wasted movement. There's no wasted energy. And it shows in his play because he's got so much energy. He's got great bounce. You could just tell that, the love for the game is there. And that's my biggest takeaway, is just how efficient Booker is on multiple different levels, not just shooting the ball, but also movement on the court. And it's beautiful basketball. And if you don't like it, you are just an absolute hater, because you can't watch Devin Booker and not be like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Like, yeah. It's just true.
It's precision.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And I think a lot of that came from early in his career, where when you have to be basically the only guy and you wind up taking a lot of volume shots, I think you learn how to eventually just be more efficient with that. And that's where, yeah, we all hated those first handful of years with Book because it was losing, and we loved watching him, but we hated the rest of it. But I think it's paying dividends now in this, and where, he had to be the primary ball handler, even when people didn't want him to be, but he was the only option. Now you look at it and you go, it's efficient, it's effective. He's so good at this, where people say there's no point guard on this team. nationally, but I think the more you watch Devin Booker in that role with this particular set of guys, you go, no, they do have a point guard. His name's Devin Booker, and he just may not look like your traditional point guard.
Yeah, I mean, Devin is so important for this team in so many different capacities. Obviously, this year, the biggest one playing the role of point book, but beyond that, even Frank Vogel recognized it last night.
Well, I just think that his leadership on our team is really invaluable. I mean, he's leading when he's not in uniform, in film sessions, at practices. He's our most vocal guy. And he's really taking the reins of that this year with this team. And even more so on the floor, as the point guard, running the show. We ask our point guards or primary ball handlers to get us in the action. Okay. And I will, put us in action if I want to see it, but I want them to own their team. And, he really takes control of that. And then obviously the shot making, the attention that he draws, bringing two to the ball, his ability to pass the basketball out of it is really exceptional, an underrated part of his game. And he was great tonight.
So I think my favorite thing from this clip from Frank Vogel is how much he praised his leadership, because that's something we've talked about over the years with Devin, that he is not a quote unquote kind of traditional leader. He leads by example, but as far as, pulling a guy off to the side or having that type of conversation, that doesn't really seem, in the past, wasn't something that Devin really seemed like he wanted to do, right? If that makes sense. And it wasn't just something that came naturally to him. I think he's talked about that openly early on in his career. Like, this is not a normal thing for me to be that vocal guy on the team. So to see how much he's grown, he's got amazing players around him, superstars like Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal on his squad, but he still has that leadership role, and people look to him for that is amazing. Like, that just shows how much he's continued to grow year after year after year. And it's always something else, whether it's adding to his game or when it comes to the leadership, finding a way to add to his teammates' games.
Yeah, and he talked about it last night, that there's just many different ways to be a leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that it's not always like you were saying where you just pull a guy aside and you're talking. There's so many different ways, and that he's learned not only from guys he's had on the team in the past, but from this locker room in particular, how many ways that you can have that kind of impact with a group. And the evolution of Devin Booker, and we've talked about it on the program before, where he came from that 18-year-old kid that walked in that building with more maturity than you expect from an 18-year-old, to this point where he's in command. He's sitting next to Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant's basically like, this is the guy. That's unbelievable, the transformation we've seen from the kid and the amount of confidence that his teammates have in him. You saw that last night. Just him being back out there on the floor changed even the way guys were acting out there.
I think, when you're 18 years old and you come into the league,
Natural.
it's natural to take, a back seat to everybody. And it probably takes some time to go through, the process and really educate yourself on, oh no, this is my team, right? I've always felt, I moved back to the Valley in 2018. So DeAndre Ayton's first year. And I always felt like it was Devin Booker's team. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think I think he knew, but he didn't really take that to heart as much. I think he was trying to perfect so many other things first before he could lead by example. And that's what he's done. Over the course of the last 5 years, you're talking about point book at first, a tragedy.
Yeah. Now
point book as a great thing. You're talking about defensively, he was not as good as he is now, and now he's leading the charge on the defensive end, and he's being vocal. Before he was not as vocal. He's directing everything and he's controlling everything as much as he possibly can. And really, he's taking the ownership, and he's really trying to walk in the same footsteps of the Kobe Bryants of the world. And I think if you want to look at anybody, if you listen to any of Kobe's videos or speeches or anything like that, and then you listen to Devin Booker, there's some similarities there. And I think he really takes that to heart. And I do wonder if when Kobe passed, that wasn't the switch that really made him go over the top and say, no, I need to own this, because this can be more, and I can have more power in terms of how I can affect others, not necessarily power, but how I can influence others in a positive way and elevate them. And I think that's where Devin Booker has gone. Instead of just scoring, he's now elevated his entire game, and he's lifted everybody else along with it.
I think the weird thing is, I think other players knew this was his team long before he did.
Yeah.
That review guy even mentioned Tyson Chandler said Book was the best player on the team as a rookie, and he's talked about it multiple times. And Book was his rookie. PJ Tucker too. They both take credit. But
they can share.
They can share it, but I think a lot of people looked at Book and knew it before he did. I think the moment that he probably took it on more was Kobe's last game in Phoenix and the Be Legendary moment, because they shared time after that game. He went straight at Kobe in that game at times, and was trying to do, much like Kobe did to Jordan, do some of Kobe's moves against him, those kind of things. I think that moment may have been where he started to go, I have this confidence, but this is my team, my town. I gotta take that next step, and it's evolved ever since then, where he's really become that leader in the room.
But I think the evolution for Book was earlier on. It was, I'm the leader in the sense that I will always be the guy who talks after games, even when we've lost umpteen million in a row. I will be there. I'll answer your questions. I'll give you answers in the best way that I can. But I think the evolution is that, like we talked about, the talking to players, to elevating their game, to helping them understand where they need to be and win, and the timing of all these things, that kind of comes a little bit naturally to him, more so than some other guys, or he sees it on a greater level than some other guys, and actually calling that out and helping get them to that next level or building up that chemistry. Like, that's what I think has come so much more in the last couple years from him. And I think that's, now we've reached kind of the pinnacle as far as what he does from a leadership standpoint for his team. Because when you see Devin out there, like, he's got good guys around him. Like, these are all solid NBA players. But the offensive flow is so much better when Booker is out there. And a lot of it comes from, like you said, helping direct traffic. Somebody in the chat had mentioned he's calling out spots. Who was it? David was saying he's pointing where the open spot is going to be before it's even open, helping his teammates understand, like, what's going through his mind to be in the best position for them to score, or for the whatever action is going to be run right there. And that's just really cool to see. And it's also way more fun as a Suns fan to watch that style of basketball than a bunch of ISO heavy basketball that we have to endure without him.
Yeah, I think, leadership comes in many, many different styles. And I think earlier on in your career, you'd rather lead by example than be vocal. And some guys just don't like to be vocal. Like, think about Kawhi Leonard. When he got to Toronto even, like, he was not a vocal guy at all, but he led by example on the court, defensively and offensively. And Book, I think, was much the same vein earlier on. But then we get to year 3, 4, 5, and that shifts. And I think at different levels, he's learned something from not only his teammates currently, but also the teammates that have come and gone, and the lessons, like you said, PJ Tucker. I could even look at like a Tyson Chandler, and then Ricky Rubio, and then you have Chris Paul. And I really do think, and I know sometimes I'm a little tough on Chris Paul. There's one thing you can never, ever, ever dog Chris Paul for, and that is leadership on and off the court. And I do think he provided a blueprint in terms of how to get across to teammates and really be a top-notch professional behind the scenes. And I think that was the thing that maybe Booker might have been missing the most. You can have guys over for a cookout. That's cool. You can do a bunch of different things, but it's those other small little touches that really make a person who they are. Something as small as like a teammate saying, my daughter's sick or whatever. And then maybe later that night you shoot them a text like, hey, how's your daughter? How's everything going? Like, those small little things will impact a player and make them want to buy into you even more, because Now they feel like you genuinely care about them. You're not just an asset for a basketball team.
Right.
And that's very important. And I think Booker has really tried to master that. And he's also done that in the community. I mean, listen, like there is El Valle might not have happened if Devin Booker doesn't come aboard the Phoenix Suns. Like there's other Valley teams that have not embraced the Chicano aspect of this community. The Suns have, because Devin Booker has embraced it as well and spearheaded that effort. And I think that's tremendous, and that can't be overlooked. Like, so there's just a lot of things about Devin Booker that make Devin Booker one of our favorite players here in the Valley.
Well, and I also think, to your point, off the court, every offseason, he focuses in on something, he improves. And I think that goes a long way, too, to guys. Because leadership also is in the fact that Kevin Durant wanted to come play here.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul wanted to come play here, because he exudes these things that are important to players in wanting to achieve their goals, and they can see it. And that is a form of leadership as well. The lead by example, like you said. And I think that goes a long way, because, hey, if Devin Booker's working that hard, I damn well better work that hard, because I'm not even where he is, or I am at that level, but I want to stay there with him as he gets better.
They want to play with like-minded people. Yes. Kevin Durant knows the work that he's put in throughout his career. He wants to play with somebody. He wants that 1A, 1B, whatever order, I don't care, you want to put it in. They're both at the top. He wants them to be the exact same as he is, in the sense of the determination, the hard work, what you put into the game and how you appreciate it. And they're two peas in a pod with that.
You can be accommodating as a teammate, but one thing Devin Booker, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan would never do is sacrifice effort in the name of accommodation. And they would never do that, because the end goal is to win a championship. And watching Devin Booker, and I keep mentioning this because it was probably the most impactful thing I've ever seen from Devin Booker in practice in 2018, when they had a terrible team. Obviously, they only won 19 games that year. Devin Booker, every day in practice, when we would go into those scrums right beforehand, he's playing one-on-one. And you would have, if you just zoomed in on Devin Booker in those moments, you wouldn't know the difference if it was a practice or the NBA Finals, because he was that aggressive. And he was that assertive on that. So
he was like that playing 2K too. I can tell you.
I mean, and that's what you want on your team. You want somebody that's kind of a savage like that.
The part that kills me about that is, like, most of the time it was with Ellie Acobo.
Oh yeah,
poor Ellie.
Poor Ely.
Poor
Is it Ely or
Ellie?
Ellie?
Ellie.
I always call
Book
him Ely.
just gave him the business in
Man,
practice.
I
I'll
felt
give
so
Ellie
bad for
credit
him.
though, because he hung in there as best as he absolutely
Poor
could.
little-
And he came back
Poor little guy
all
tried.
the time.
He
but
tried.
like, damn, like, what are you supposed
Yeah.
to do in that situation?
I was wondering why you were laughing. I was like, what are you laughing about?
Because I
So,
just
yeah.
remember
I
Book
do.
and Ellie. And there were
Every
times where
time.
Book would, like, scream, not like at him, but like, you know what I mean? In a playful, like, shit talking kind of way. And I'm just like, that's messed up, Book.
Man.
That's messed up.
You almost to the point where you felt like, man, do you really hate Ellie?
No,
what's
they were
going
like
on?
best buds.
I know.
Best buds.
The first year he'd do that with PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
And that,
But PJ was kind of low key giving Book the business.
Yes.
And that's what really pushed Book. I think
Toughen
PJ
him
being
up.
so defensively minded and really going at Book like hard is what really helped Book out, being able to navigate all of the defenses that are thrown at him now.
Yeah.
Like, that was the blueprint right there. That was the first flip that switch with Book. Like, oh, I got to be able to, like, one of the best defenders, and I got to, if I can finesse this and get around him, then I'm set.
Yeah, they weren't afraid to go after each
No,
other.
that was
They
entertaining
had
too.
fun.
Hey, the chat, you guys are making a lot of great points, and I just wanted to acknowledge you guys. Like, we see it all. It's fantastic. Like, the feedback that we're seeing in the chat. Keep going. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Also, you can come hang out with us tomorrow if you want. We're going to have a watch party over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
You gotta be 21.
Specifically, yeah, Wild Horse Pass, right? Yeah, you do have to be 21. So leave the children at home for this one.
Including your newborns.
Yeah.
No newborns.
But it is going to be a blast. We're going to have a great time. We're going to watch the Suns. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to eat some food. We're going to hang out. We're going to mingle, all the things. And also, make sure you check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos $1 Million Showdown. So it's super simple. You just play fun, free games online for a chance to win $1 million cash. Like, who doesn't want to participate in that? For more information, you can visit GilaMillionShowdown.com to get in on the action. And for more information on Gila River Resorts and Casinos and all that they have to offer, head to playatgila.com.
Are we eligible?
That's a
Well,
great
I got to
question.
find out because
Yeah.
I
I
want
would
in on
think
that.
Yeah, we're
mail.
not employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want in on that. Mail.
100%. You're also eligible, Espo, to get a discount on brand new flooring from our friends over at Empire Today. With Empire Today, you can shop at home convenience. You know, I love that aspect. The right product for your needs, which we all should love, and quick and professional installation, which is great because the holidays are literally next week.
Yeah, you don't want slow and inefficient installation.
No.
It's just not good.
They also have the floor visualizer you can check out at empiretoday.com/PHNX so you can see what the floor will look like in your space. So schedule a free in-home estimate today and make sure you use that promo code PHNX because you can receive a $350 off discount when you use that promo code. Again, it's PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. All right, so we know what Devin brings to this team, and one of those things is making it a little bit easier on his teammates. And I think we should start with KD because KD has had to bear the brunt of the load this season so far, and he has done a fantastic job of doing everything he can to kind of keep this team's head above water throughout all of the injuries that we've had to deal with. But I know we all know that Book makes KD's life easier, but KD's not shy. He'll admit it too. Here's what he had to say after last night's game.
Incredible. I mean, that's what I expect out of him every time he touched the floor. You know, I maybe was expecting a little bit of like wind in his lungs, you know, early on, but he looked great. The pop was there, just playing with pace, and that's what we need. It's good to have our point guard back.
Good to have our point guard
Did he
back.
give that little look?
Yeah, it got cut before he gives the
I know.
smirk.
I wanted to see the smirk,
The
but that's all
smirk.
good.
That smirk's my favorite part.
It's just, you know,
Damn, Rudy.
listen, I mean, the intangibles are just not there yet. You know what I mean? Like,
Rudy, we
there's
gave
just
him
no, there's just no feel for the game. You know
Damn
what
it,
I
I
mean?
was
Like,
having a good show so far, too.
we gave him
because we
the
didn't have a number graphic yet. That's why.
well, we gave him the time code and just couldn't read the number.
Oh no, blessings.
Love you, Rudy.
But we got to see yesterday just having Book back out there. Like they both ended up finishing with 31 points each, right? But KD was able to. I don't want to make this sound like he wasn't doing anything, but he kind of got to sit back and chill a little bit. He didn't have to exert so much energy for this team to stay in a game. He was able to take a step back, and they would trade off in moments when Book could take the load and then KD could take the load, and they complement each other so well in that way.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I thought distribution-wise, the Suns had 31 assists, and so Devin Booker's effect is there. And listen, Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. Like he's gonna drop 11 out of 15 just about every single night. But it's the ease by which that happened last night that I think that we're all like really excited about. And it's going to get even better if Bradley Beal gets healthy and comes back. And I really hope that does happen because I know this fan base really wants to see that. I think based on last night, adding a Bradley Beal and his, he can be that slicing scorer. He can handle the ball, obviously, and alleviate the pressure. Those three guys might play 48 minutes because they won't have to do as much on the offensive end every single time down the court, and that's fantastic.
Well, Devin Booker allowed Kevin Durant to be Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Durant has said himself that 12 to 15 shots is his sweet spot. He was 11 to 15 last night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look. I everybody knows I love Charles Barkley, but I don't like this mindset that's been perpetrated around Kevin Durant, where there's something wrong with needing somebody else in a job.
It's
right?
a team sport.
It's a team sport, but like in any walk of life, you need other people. And Devin Booker and Kevin Durant pair so well because Book does a lot of things that make things easier on KD. KD can do the same for Book, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'll say this. But you and I, you're a book man in my life here, right, Leo? Like you make things easier in a managerial spot because you do certain things better than I do, and vice versa. And it's okay to have teammates that help you be better.
Yeah.
I mean, so Kevin Durant hasn't had huge success doing it himself. Who has? Booker didn't have huge success doing it himself either. This sport needs guys that pair well together, and I think this pairing is one of, if not the best in the NBA when both healthy, because they help each other that much.
It's very rare that you will find an individual that single-handedly, no matter who surrounds them, can elevate the entire team to playoff level or championship level status. It's super rare, right? I can really think of about 3 guys right now that probably had that in their DNA. Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, LeBron James. Those 3, because their versatility to be able to score, distribute, and elevate their teammates. I mean, LeBron took like maybe one of the most scrub teams ever to the finals, like in Cleveland. Like, so I think there's something to be said about that. And Kevin Durant is not built like those guys. They're a little bit different because he's more of a scorer, can play defense, but he's not the all-around player, if you will, in terms of distribution that those guys are. That's not a knock on Kevin Durant. It's just he's a different guy. Michael Jordan was not like those guys either, and Michael Jordan needed some help. You know what I mean? He needed one more guy to help him out, and Scottie Pippen helped him out. You know, Magic Johnson had a great team at a certain point, but he also took a scrub-ass Lakers squad to the finals against Michael Jordan. Like, these guys were legendary, but all these guys are legendary. And Kevin Durant is in a pretty much in a league of his own, because I think he's one of the most efficient scorers of all time, and I think he will go down as one of the most efficient scorers of all time.
I think the irony is Barkley's the guy that keeps saying this, but he even said it when he was leaving Philly that, I can't get it done with these guys. I need teammates. I need guys like Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson and the group that they put around him. And that was the only time he went to the finals. Like, so what's the whole "you're not a bus driver" thing? Chuck didn't do it either. So like, I don't get the mindset. I think that this is a perfect pairing, that both guys can be the star, can be the superstar here. And that when you say it's Devin Booker's team, it's because he's been here. He's ingrained in the Valley, and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal both I want to go play with him. Just like when Chris Paul was here, it was still Devin's team because Chris Paul said, I want to go play with Devin Booker. That's as simple as it gets. Both of them are superstars. I said it last night. It's not Batman and Robin. It's Batman and Batman. They're both the hero in the case.
And the numbers back that up as well. So Suns Are Better on Twitter tweeted out some really cool stats. So Devin Booker's stats when playing with Kevin Durant: 31.5 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 7.3 assists per game on 65.9% true shooting. Kevin Durant's stats when playing with Book: 27.5 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists per game on 63.4% true shooting. Then they went on and added, there's really no stopping this duo. Like, this duo is top notch. And they elevate each other. And that's all you can ask for. And I think as fans, because I know we have a lot of KD fans, we've got a lot of Book fans. Collectively, we're all Suns fans, though. They can coexist. Mm-hmm. So let's not compare them to one another. They're not comparing themselves to each other. They are looking at this as, you elevate me, I elevate you, and together we elevate this entire organization. And we all benefit from that.
Well, I will say this. I was very proud of about 50% of the Suns fans out there, because they were saying that exact thing. Like, we're all tired of it. Like, why do we have to always compare, contrast every single player against every single player? Like, we legit have 2 of the greatest and most efficient scorers in NBA history playing on our team right now. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the ride. Like, I don't care whose team this is. I don't care who is the superstar or who's better, who can score better. Like, I don't give a shit about any of that. They both are freaking awesome.
And they want to be here and they want to play together.
Yeah. And they love each other.
Yes.
Like, Devin hugged him, in the middle of the game, so like, my bad, I screwed up, and then they hugged each other. And KD gets a kick out of that. You know what I mean? They're both having a great time playing basketball. We need to have a great time watching them play basketball. That's my 2 cents.
100%. All right. Lucas, earlier on in the show, sent us a chat and said, I'm going to put some money on Book for MVP probably. Low key, I know we've had a lot of conversations around this before the season started and what we felt like the narrative was going to be as far as the national media goes. But the way that Book you can tell the difference when Book is playing so far this season and when he's not. I know it's a small sample size as far as it's only been 3 games, but his stats are still pretty good in those 3 games. He's put up 31.3 points, 8.7 assists, 6.3 rebounds in 32.7 minutes per game, shooting 56.7% overall and 45.5% from 3. Like, Devin being out there drastically affects this team. So I don't think that's a bad futures bet to put some money on.
Do you know what his true shooting percentage is this season so
No,
far?
I don't. Not off the top of my head.
69%.
Nice.
So I think you should absolutely do that, Lucas. Put some money down on Book for MVP this year. You can do that over at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And right now, if you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PHNX, new customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code PHNX. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort KS. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, LA. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
You know,
Get stuffed, Ontario. Sorry.
my bad. I forgot about that part. I was watching a video today, and it kind of reminded me of what we just talked about with KD and Book. And Gino Auriemma, the legendary coach at UConn women's basketball team, talked about basketball players in AAU or even in college and even on his team, and how the number one thing he looks for, doesn't matter how well you're playing, it's always body language. It's always body language. If you have bad body language, you won't play. He once benched Breanna Stewart almost the entire game because she had poor body language. And when you watch Kevin Durant and Devin Booker play with each other, you can tell their body language is good. Like, they love to play the game. They love to play with each other. And as a fan, I love it. Like, I enjoy watching guys that really enjoy playing with each other on the court because it makes the games a lot more enjoyable and a lot more interesting, to be honest with you. When I know there's beef between this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy, it's not fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming from a U of A guy who literally watched a team that had like 4 quote unquote all conference performers that hated each other. And you would always be like, man, this team could be so much better.
Yeah.
And that's
chemistry is so
so
invaluable.
important.
Like, it's
So
so
important.
important for a team to have.
But is it? I mean, it's like that in most work environments. Don't you want to
That's
come to
true.
work more when we
we're
want
in
to
a
be
fight, our
here?
show sucks.
Like, yeah, like if we don't want to be here together, like, do we really?
time out. If we have a bad show, that doesn't mean there was necessarily anything bad that happened behind the
That's
scenes.
not true.
No, it means they both pissed me off that day.
Oh, some of our best shows have
Knuckle
been when we
sandwiches.
pissed you off.
I
This
mean,
is
that's
true.
fact.
That's true.
Also, a reminder, if you haven't downloaded the Circle K Inner Circle app, what are you doing? You're missing out on great stuff. First and foremost, you save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You also save 3 cents per gallon every single day. You get every 6 free on a selection of Circle K products like pizza, coffee, ice cold fountain drinks, and so much more. So join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. Okay, so we know.
Silos in the chat. He was at the Takeover last night.
Hi. I know, he agreed with me. He said my body felt like it was taken over by last night's Takeover.
You had bad body language, is what he was saying.
Well, you know, it's a little sore. I'm not going to lie.
Lucas, Chelsea is some of the best content.
Thanks, Lucas. So we know Katie benefits from Book being back because he doesn't have to be the only guy out there who's doing the most, right? Not that the other guys aren't doing their part, but Katie had to carry more of that load. Who else? I know the short answer is everybody, but specifically, who else do you think benefits the most by Book being back?
Grayson Allen.
Okay.
I think Grayson Allen, because you saw last night, those lanes become a little bit wider when you have the weight of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker on each side of the court. And you don't have to worry about getting attacked on the rim because if they collapse, then you're throwing it out to one of the two shooters like that, and that's just tremendous. And then even Eric Gordon, you saw that last night. The first time he touched the ball and he went down the court, he got stripped. We were like, would you stop going in to the trees? But then after that, he kind of picked and chose his spots. And I thought he played a decent game in terms of driving because, again, the lane is open. It's more open than it usually is. And I think those two guys are fantastic. I'm not going to say the name.
Same, but that one for sure. Everybody's putting the name in the chat. Everyone's putting the name in the chat. So you guys, we're all on the same page. We see you. I know that one guy who asked for a certain something. No, we can't do that. No jinxes here this year.
We don't talk about J.O. No.
But I agree.
Eric Gordon is definitely one. I think he gets to go back to, being himself rather than trying to be this primary ball handler and trying to do that. We saw him hit some of those threes that have been kind of his hallmark from from 30 feet out last night. And I think it kind of settles everything down a little bit, right? Sure, he wasn't playing his typical bench role that we think he will, but he was playing that, as I joked, the Walmart Bradley Beal position. So he benefited from the KD and Book thing where he's getting those looks that Beal will likely get, and he kind of had that natural return to what we had hoped to see. But it's tough to pick one guy.
Yeah,
everybody does. Everybody benefits from having him out there from a multitude of reasons. I know we talk about gravity. I know you're going to say Nurk, and I did so.
I thought Nurk had some good swings. He had some good moments, but I don't think I would say he had a couple spots defensively that I thought he improved. There was other spots defensively that I thought he fell short on. And I think distribution-wise, I'll never bag Nurkic for distribution. I think he passes as good as any center in the game. But the problem is when he has the opportunity to score, I mean, he had 0 points going into the fourth quarter, and that can't happen every single game. You got to at least show that you are somewhat of a threat.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, I don't think Book changes a lot for a lot of these guys, but I agree. Offensively, Nurk should be getting easier buckets. Matchup wise, that's a weird one with the bigs there, but I think that's fair to an extent that Nurk hasn't so far benefited, but overall,
he will.
Devin Booker makes things easier for this entire team.
Yeah.
I think who benefits the most from Book being back is all of us collectively as fans of this team who consume Suns basketball.
This is just such a cop-out.
Is it a
Saul
cop-out?
is so mad at that
Do you
answer.
remember
But for
last
real, do
night's
you remember?
game compared to others?
Do you remember last week compared to this week?
Isn't it a known that that's the benefit?
Bro.
We just talked at length about how enjoyable it's to
Yeah,
watch those
but
two.
my mentals last week were struggling.
All right.
Twitter last week was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's
Fair.
a complete 180.
Lindsay only cares about
We're back in
us.
action. I mean, am I wrong though? Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Am I
It's
wrong?
just such a layup answer.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just got to make the layups. We praised Matt Ishbia for making the layups when he took over this organization. Layups are important.
We praised Lindsay for hitting a -110
That's
bet
right.
yesterday. Layups are important.
That's
all right.
right.
Okay.
Get on board, Saul.
Okay, carry on.
This one's also a layup that y'all should be taking care of as well. Desert Financial Credit Union wants to give you $200 in bonuses. Like, hello, layup, make the bucket. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union. And right now, when you open a free checking account online, you're going to get $200 in bonuses. So to get started, just go to desertfinancial.com/200. And you can use that $200 to get yourself a deal on a nice pair of Shady Rays or 2 pairs of Shady Rays. Because exclusively for all of our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Just go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX, and you're going to get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. So you can try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people and make for a great gift. You get one for yourself, one to gift, and you get a nice little discount on it as well. So not a bad option. Okay, so I want to round out today's show with a little bit of fun. Last night in the chat, we had a couple of people asking us to do a draft because it's been a while. So we're going to do one of those today, and it's all going to be around a soundbite we got from Devin Booker last night. So this is that soundbite.
I do it every night. I have smoke with a lot. That's every night.
The whole league.
Yeah, everybody.
Katie just put it on blast, like the whole league. You got a little bit of beef with everybody in the entire league, but I'm not mad at it. So today for our draft, we are going to be drafting rivalries / beef. So it doesn't have to be like a full-blown rivalry.
And beef.
I think you could
So
kind of
you're
mix
just kind
it
of
in
throwing
there.
some craziness in there now.
I mean,
So what's the difference between a rivalry and beef?
A rivalry would be team to team.
And it's like a long-standing kind of
Yeah.
thing too, where a little bit of beef could be, you could just.
Okay, this is going to be
So-
complex, but here we go.
We'll be okay. Let me do the draft thing here so we know what order. You ready? And generate draft order. Saul, Lindsay, Espo.
Okay, so I have the very first one. Oh man, I hate being first. I always screw this up.
You're fine.
I don't really know if I want to. Jesus Christ, that was loud. I would say that the first one that I can think of. Oh man, there's so many to go.
And these could just be like your favorites too.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna
Ones
pick
that
some
you
of my
enjoy the
favorites.
most
I
or
mean, the
have
first one I
enjoyed.
always think of when I do get to like rivalries. I do think Red Sox, Yankees.
Okay. Is that what you're going with?
So that'll be my first pick.
Okay. I'm going to go with. I'm going to take a newer one. I'm going to take Book and Luca. Because
Yeah.
I have a lot of, it's a lot of
See,
high
I-
highs,
see, I'm not-
a lot of low lows.
This is jacked up because I was not prepared for the beefs. I was just prepared for the rivalries.
I told
So I
you
have my
that
lips-
before.
I didn't think it was going to be beefs, so now I have to go research some stuff while you guys talk.
Okay.
So 2 in a row for me. I'm going to go Celtics Lakers
Yep.
first.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go the British and toothpaste.
What? Lord have mercy.
You could have done British and good food as well.
Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to go. This one's a little bit funny on your end of things too, Espo, similar but not. MJ and them kids.
It's good.
Okay.
Saul, are you just Googling like
No,
beefs all
no.
time?
Nope. I'm going to go U of A ASU.
Okay, that's a good one.
And then I'm going to go. Ooh, man. What's a really good one out there? Ooh. MJ versus the Pistons.
That's a good one too.
Back
Okay.
to you, Lindsay.
My turn. I'm gonna go. Which one do I do here? I'm gonna go Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Good one. I'm going to go Phoenix and LA, just
Okay.
in general, not just basketball specific. And then I'm going to go Alien versus Predator because, that's a fun one that's perpetually going on. So
You said Alien versus Predator?
Yes.
Okay. That's an interesting one. I get it. This is a tough one because this would be the last one, right? Are we doing 5?
Yep. No, you got one more.
Yeah,
After
so this would be my last one.
No, you have one more after this. Don't you have 4?
Oh wait, I wrote that down in Espo's. My bad. I'm all messed up. Okay. I'm gonna go Chris Paul and Scott Foster.
Ooh,
one.
nice, solid pick. That's a good one right there.
I think that's funny.
Man, I'm trying to think. Oh, Magic versus Bird.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think you have one more.
I have
right?
one
Or
more.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. I have
And
2.
for this
Oh.
one, I'm gonna go. I didn't have any funny ones like you guys, so I'm gonna go Ali versus Frazier.
That's a quality one.
Okay. So I have one more. Gosh, I feel like I only had 4 that were like really good. 1, 2, 3.
Don't
4.
take Mike Romans.
What is it?
Arizona versus championships.
Oh man.
The
man.
Rising have something to say about
I
that.
And the
haven't even
Rattlers,
looking at
and the
the chat.
Mercury, and the Diamondbacks.
Espo and Lindsay's ad reads.
I mean,
That's
that is
funny.
that is really funny. That's a good one. I really want to take this one. I don't know if this is going to win me any brownie points, but this made me laugh so hard. And I think it's one of the best memes we've gotten in recent years from the NBA. But Pat Bev and the camera versus the ref
I like it.
makes me laugh. That was next level kind of trolling of officials. So I think I'm gonna go that.
So I'm the final pick here, correct?
Yes.
I think you all have missed the greatest rivalry that ever has existed.
Which means it's not the
Batman and the
greatest
Joker.
No, well, that one's good.
I almost took that one.
And I wanted to go there,
I just don't really like Batman.
but I think it's too much in my wheelhouse. I think
Yeah.
people expect me to go there. So I'm going to go pick up basketball versus Flex's zone defense. I wasn't going to win anyway, so I was like, why not? You know?
I mean, listen, that might get you some pretty
damn.
funny. I know, Steven, that's messed up.
No, I was thinking of something else.
Oh, which one?
Tupac versus Biggie.
Oh, that's a good
That's a big
one. I
one.
didn't even think about
What about
music.
just East Coast
Yeah.
versus West Coast?
Yeah, Taylor
Oh.
Swift versus non-Swifties. Oh man, especially in the NFL. Oh my
As
gosh.
Charles Barkley likes to say, the ladies in San Antonio versus churros. So, yeah, there's all sorts of great rivalries.
Damn, we did miss a bunch of them.
That's
I
all right.
also I didn't want to take two cartoon ones, but I was battling between Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner or Tom and Jerry. But I always enjoyed watching the Roadrunner ones sometimes.
Yeah.
I thought they were hilarious.
I really wanted to go Joker Batman, but like I said, I thought it was too much.
Somebody
Yeah.
say Aiton versus Effort. No.
Aiton.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm kidding. I'm
Me
joking.
versus
I'm
numbers.
joking.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Apple
Yeah.
versus Android?
Ooh, that's a
Ooh.
good one.
That is a really good
That's a
one.
good
Okay,
one. Okay.
that's a good
All right.
one.
Somebody in the chat said Aiton versus the chat. I think that
Aiton.
was
Yeah.
a fair one as well.
Y'all
Yeah.
been brutal at times, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, the Diesel says Lance Stevenson versus LeBron's ear. That was a love story. That wasn't a
There's no
rivalry.
beef. No rivalry.
No beef.
Chris said Girth versus the Rat.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like more than anything, it's me and Saul versus Gerald for letting us down in that
Yep.
situation.
Yeah.
Because we had major beef. Bro, I was so mad
I'm
at Gerald.
still mad
that
at
would have been a
Gerald.
You
great
have no
internet
idea.
moment.
We have given Gerald so much grief behind the scenes about his lack of commitment to all of us and wanting to see the Rat jump out of that bag.
Couple other ones. Pacquiao versus Marquez. I would have said
Mhm.
Pacquiao versus Mayweather, even though they never got to fight in their prime, whatever. Shaq versus Charles, sure.
Yes.
PHNX versus DMVR, yes,
That's
a
a
million
good
percent.
one. That is a good one.
Jake Paul versus Good Taste.
Oof.
Mm.
Brian said Book versus the Mascot, the Toronto one. I had that on my list, but I figured that one kind of was like, it had mixed reviews. Some people thought it was funny and other people absolutely hated that it was even a thing.
Yeah, Stephen Weiss said Ron Artest versus Detroit Pistons fans. I would have said a cup of water, but yeah, either way is good.
All right, guys, that'll do it. I think, should we put this one on Twitter? I think we should put this one on Twitter.
Sure.
I'm gonna
Yeah?
get.
No?
I'm gonna get.
Why
my ass
not?
kicked in this
Okay, we don't
one.
have to put it on Twitter.
No, we can put it
That's
on
fine.
Twitter. It's fine.
Whatever.
Landry Shamet versus an open three.
Oh,
Landry
Good one,
Shamet versus
splash
Saul
buckets.
Bookman and this chat.
it's only a rivalry if both people acknowledge it's a rivalry.
That's fair. That's fair.
And to this point, I don't think Landry Shamet knows that I'm not the biggest fan.
Or
probably
does he?
not. Maybe. You never know. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you as always. Don't forget tomorrow you can join us for the watch party out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. What is it again?
I'll
Wild
buy you a
Horse?
beer if you come
Wild
out.
Horse Pass.
Wild Horse Pass?
I'll buy you a beer if you just come and be my friend.
Yeah, come hang out with us. But if not, make sure you don't miss out on the shows. We will be live 30 minutes before tip-off with a pregame show. And, of course, a post-game show once the game wraps up. Until we see you tomorrow, you can give the show a follow on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. And, of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Saul and I are in a rivalry. Can we just stop that? in
Bro,
the
it should be
chat?
Saul and EJ after this morning's outside shot.
Every day. I fight for my life.
Ahoy, boy.
the mayor.